Welcome back to this action-packed scene between G2 Esports and NAVI. Not yet a Gambit, but they are definitely on the horizon as they are soon to clash against one of these teams, which is yet to be decided on this final and third map of the series. It was a beautiful, and at the same time, very terrible performance by NAVI on the previous map. Obviously, just based on the deaths, just based on your personal gaming experience, you can say that should have gone Navi's way, or at least way closer than it actually was. Because there were rounds where Navi threw that by trying to flash themselves out through the smoke, really made things go totally awry and flipped the entire game in favor of G2 Esports. Well, third map, good to throw out all of the memories about the previous and start focusing, channeling all of your power that's left for this matchup, for this map to be more precise. Nuke will put G2 Esports onto the T side, Navi on the city. Already, half French squad barreling their way forward down the ramp. Bit underneath, he gets one frag, guillotines Jets with the USPS, but unfortunately is not good for anything more. He will be taken down by Hunter as well. Boomich is the only player up close. There's Perfecto as well coming in from the back. He's going to help him out just a little bit. CZ75 works itself out, but already the first portion of magazine is gone, so he's going to be very careful and not profligate about his bullets. He tries to spot eye ahead. He would love to have it pop out of the angle, but that is just a bit too far behind the wall. And here they come, all falling down to G2's claws. Here they go with the pistol round and short. T side, very important to be sailing into the opening part of the map on Nuke. You normally expect to be city side way more dominant against D, so this is definitely something they will be happy about, getting the first round on their board. But Navi are immediately willing to respond, willing to put up response. They are willing to retort back with the force by Simple with the double nade along with his teammate. That's gonna cheap Nico down to 56 HP. They found their bits of damage. They are collecting them piece by piece, but frags would be much more favorable. There are smokes enough to provide cover for G2 Esports to run themselves into the B-bomb site. Secret is totally occupied. Bit has been fast enough to locate himself on top of the railing. He does get the frag, but no more. He did the same in the previous rounds. But if Navi want to retake the site, they definitely need a few skits, and I'm not sure whether there was one on either of these players who are now spared on a couch. Maybe something is available right there to scoop up. What are these frags? Elytra getting one. Deagle works out. Scout as well through the smoke finds its impact. And Hunter is live on the glass. Navi supposedly know that he is right there. No defuse kit seemingly will be found by Navi, but they do have enough time, I guess. It should be enough for the bomb defuse. It's sticking quite close. 1 second, and here it comes. They respawned immediately on Nuke. 1-1. G2 Esports. This was the moment I've just mentioned. The privilege of picking up a pistol round, the privilege of really trying to put up a difference, trying to put up some pace further into the game from the very first round of Nuke, which can be very huge. I mean, G2 Esports, you pick up the pistol rounds and you're trying to go for the full conversion of 3 rounds the very least, because you take down the force buy and you make it a pretty easy one for the third round. Navi, even though great response, they're gonna put G2 Esports into a bit of distress by means of their economy. They're gonna have to force themselves to stick around pure pistols, with no SMGs, with no scouts, with no armor brought into place. They were trying to round down the secret area. They got success right there a little bit, but that wasn't for too long. Navi are instantly denying their intentions of that sort. And with that said, we're gonna have a first equal buy from both of these teams. G2 Sports will have enough cash to rebuy and supply themselves with the weapons they need for the job. Hopefully that's gonna be the case. Hunter and Jazz going for Khalil ARs. That is reasonable enough, because otherwise they wouldn't have enough money for any utility to work with. So better opt for the tactical means rather than firepower, because you know Navi's economy is also, it's good, but they are not going for any upgrades, which means the very least two players will stick around their weapons they had in the previous round. So no upgrades will be seen right there. They want to boost their economy up in case they lose this round specifically. Some utility exchanges again. Nico is the one to take quite a lot of damage. That used to be down to 56, if I'm not mistaken, on the force buy by Navi. And now a pretty similar spot, but he manages to sneak by into the secret area. There is Boomich to watch it from downstairs, so in case somebody dares to knock on his door, he sure enough will be ready for that sort of a play. Perfecto takes down Amanek, but he's not expecting another one to be coming from the back. Jax gets rid of this bottleneck that hindered G2 Sports for a couple of seconds to open the A-bomb site, but now they are definitely content about what they're having right now. Navi, even if they lose this round, even if they lose these players, they can still go for the rebuy, but I'm not sure if they are actually willing to attempt this retake against 3 of the members remaining. Boomich takes down 1, but the bomb is halfway ticked. It is about to be quarter left on the clock. Simple eventually makes a decision. They do have the few skills to work with a bit. Simple distracts enough attention. He's finally going to be taking him down. Swoops down from the above, but will be taken down as he was switching his weapons. So G2 Esports maintain their position on the map. They tie up the score line with a beautiful execute on the A-bomb side. Really just taking these players one by one. And a beautiful also just spray transfer by Hunter. Turns around for the second and then finds Bit in the end. Brilliant job by the Kovac cousin. 4 AKs and Mac 10. It seems like they are thinking that Navi have eco rounds, but that's not the case. AWP in presence and 4 M4 A4s across the board. You've got to be careful about that. Keep your hat on a swivel. Oh, he's about to walk out of the trap. Nico will take him down. 1 HP less than it used to be in the previous round, and that is finally due to the bullet damage rather than nade. And he's also in the same position. Off of that first frag, doesn't wanna pick himself any further. He knows they're having a man advantage and they need to synergize together. They need to spread all of themselves into the same position and take down Bit by the common power, by the entire wave. The flashbang deployed. It's not gonna touch Bit for the moment. He dodges it very nice. Oh my god. He had such a perfect lineup, but Simple is better. He does deliver too. That's a collateral hit by the Ukrainian sniper. The best player in the world steps up in a phenomenal way. Bit takes down 2, gathers them all, and G2 Esports are already down. I don't think Nico has a response towards that. He's got 58 HP. It's not, he's not in red, but still very hard to find anything, especially with the bomb dropped. It is under the nose of Bit, so it is already wrapped up. Navi ensure the 3rd round, and this is actually a very big testament towards how neck on neck neck and neck this game actually will be. It has started to be exactly that way on Dust 2, and right now we are seeing the traces that's been left behind from Dust 2. They are still in play, they are still in consideration. Navi versus G2 playing head-to-head with those back and forth kills, rounds, whatever you want to call it. I'm pretty sure none of these teams will have any breathing room, any room to relieve themselves, unless they pick up a crazy amount of lead. But right now, it is not the case. So again, G2 Esports are emptying all of their pockets for the fours, but they really want to fight for that competitive advantage against Navi on the T side. They want to make sure they secure just enough rounds to feel way more comfortable after switching themselves up to the city. Electronic is definitely heard them out. Here comes Amanek. He sees his lags more vividly than onto Nico, it seems. But he also knows that one more player has crossed. He definitely heard him out at that point in time, and Boomich is aware of that. He's got his smoke ready to be thrown out onto Nico, who is about to walk out of this angle. Boomich, oh, he hasn't spotted him out. Oh, that's a terrible time. He thinks it's clear, and this will allow Nico to walk by. Slip into the B-bomb side and definitely cause some problems for now because they have no clue. He tells his teammates, guys, stay back, don't commit the ramp position because I'm about to take down the very least one player on the B-bomb side, which is about to be the case. Boomich, he might be thinking, how has it happened? But he's managed to escape himself back with the smoke left behind. Bit on the ramp, does get them all down, mows them all. Great triple K for him, and what looked to be a very nice beginning for G2 Esports for the round conversion has now gone. They had a very good upper hand at the beginning. Nico managed to slip through. Boomich didn't spot him out, but the problem was he could not open the door. He could not break the glass. He had to come out with a one-on-one duel against Boomich, so there was no way he could get himself into the B-bomb side and somehow wrap around the ramp to provide the flank for a bit. Good possibility, but unfortunately that is too fleeting. That doesn't result in anything they were probably expecting. But that was a very nice move, a very nice opportunity for Nico and for his rest of the team to capitalize on. I wonder if Boomich had been dropped, if he actually had been sprayed down to 0 HP. He's so lucky to escape. He's so lucky to drop down the smoke before Nico steps onto his initial ground. And that just also brings Navi a lot of advantage. They have a lot of information. They know that there is a rep from Nico. And obviously, if there is such a position taken by Nico, the entire squad is more likely targeting the B-bomb side from ramp. So that becomes just an easy field of victims for a bit to slice down, to cut them into pieces. And now, as you can see, Nico was the only man to save his AK-47. The rest will be playing with only Glock, so the entire responsibility in this round falls onto his shoulders solely. G2 will try to create some space by going on first with a pistol, so Nico will be the one to keep himself behind and try to trade somebody off. Navi should have a read upon that as well. So 45 seconds, and they are about to sprint into the A-bomb side, just a couple of inches away from locating themselves deep into the hut. The door is open. They are trying to cause some attention off of their positions. Boomich delivers a frag, along with Perfecto, who started it off. Very nice for Navi to defend their ground. And that is the 5th round for their camp. So 3-round difference already, showing why they've gone for this stage of the game, showing why they are indeed why they are just good enough for the grand final against Gambit and Lords. what a historic event it will actually be if we see Navi against Gambit. That's going to be a very interesting clash. If you remember, before Navi lost against Gambit, it was in this tournament where Gambit pushed them down to the lower bracket and to play against G2 basically, because by winning out against Navi on the upper bracket, they secured their spot in the grand finals and de-elevated Navi down to the lower bracket. So imagine just how much has been, how much cult, how much history, iconicness, if you want to call it this way, has been created between these two teams. I'm talking about Navi and Gambit. After they stepped, to the big stage of CS, Gambit were, well, with a lot of players from Gambit youngsters, managed to become a very powerful squad. Basically the #1 team in the world. What else can you say? It is all written. It is all proven. Nobody can doubt that. It is all on paper. Proven, attested. Oh, Electronic is playing with fire right there. Oh my god. Perfecto to take him down. He saw him from the above. Nice job by the man. Saves. He's just saved the life of Electronic at that point in time. And imagine if that imagine if Perfecto didn't spot out Jax in that position. Was it Jax in that position? I don't remember who was there, but if he didn't spot out the player in the main area, that would have been a pretty interesting play. Just stealth walk by Electronic, completely unaware, but he just relies on Perfecto, and he says, guys, it's all covered, don't worry, you can just walk by and I'm gonna make it for you. He didn't actually react to Jax getting down because, I mean, he's just so focused on his role. He's just so focused on his intentions rather than anybody else's. Bit in the ram, sprays 3 men down, provides enough. Simple with the shot, and he will be taken down by Nico through the wall. Probably should not have overextended himself that far. This can cost them the round. Hunter with a very prime position, but he misses his mark, which ends up being the kill for Electronic himself. He's on 34 HP. Nico is having a chance to take him down. He will. But he's also waiting. He's hoping that somebody else is up there. And Perfecto has walked in. These timings are so damn crazy. It is so hard to get your enemy out of the choke points because you'd never know where he is. Nico, he waits until the last moment. He waits until 20 or 25 seconds perhaps, until he finally reverts himself and steps into the B-bomb instead of playing the bomb down. But he's got to be ready for Perfect up close. He also scoops up an AK-47, 23 bullets in his magazine. He's looking for it, and he's done it. Wow! What a game sense. Nico. It looked to be a little bit uncertain in the beginning. It looked like he didn't have that much clue of where Perfecto could be. But, yeah, maybe the communication by his teammate, maybe that helped out in this situation. And you can see him spotting a glimpse of his head. And Perfecto does not realize that, and he will fall because of that. So, Navi, they concede with a round to G2. 3-6. Half round difference off of the Navi scoreline we are seeing right now. Simple is, as usual, equipped with an AWP. He's been losing this weapon for a pretty long time. G2 Esports managed to counter it off a couple of rounds already. But that is all without but that is not without ramification, so to speak. Simple, before he falls, he's usually good for 2 frags or even more. So in terms of impact, he's doing his job, and that is great for Navi. He's not only the player having 3 or 4 frags, he's not forced to be that one stepping up all the time. There are players who are consistent enough to bring their portion of impact into the game. And Simple, with an AWP, he just becomes a very good addition to the Navi's roster, along with those just powerful players like Bit, for instance. He's been on a roll. He's been on a rise once he joined Navi as his main roster, replacing Flamey on a regular basis. He's showing a really good performance. I personally did not expect it to be that way. Perfecto to take down Jax as they clash on their advent to the A-bomb side, but it trades favoring them. There was a lot of uncertainty from G2 Esports committing the A-bomb side, but now at 2 versus 3, there is no nade to be thrown out by a Bit, and he would love to dump his HE if it was available right there, but unfortunately it's not. 12 frags. He's done only 1 of this round, and just analyzing, basing on their economy state, they've got to go for the safe. He's not, I wouldn't say audacious enough. He's definitely capable of doing those crazy clutches, but I'm pretty sure, analytically speaking, this is a better decision for them to just go for the safe. You have no other options. You have those angles covered off by G2 Esports, and you also don't have any defuse kits to work with, right? You would have to be, you know, walking around the side and trying to find them. Especially if you try to go for the flank from main entrance. Navi have been giving up a lot of outside control for G2 Esports these days. These past couple of rounds, Simple locates himself in the smoke. Oh, imagine how badly it can actually unfold. They are walking right by, but it doesn't want to go for that kind of risk. There is Boomage underneath. As usual, does have a flashbang, doesn't do a lot. They are boosting themselves over. And here comes the spray down onto his body. So Electronic tries to jump over the silo, but unfortunately he's too far. He's too further to spot out Nexa right there. And now Nexa goes straight into his perspective, perhaps. My god, these timings are crazy. Nexa will be delivered with a bit of a chip. But sure thing this doesn't go completely against them. Just 1 frag picked up by Navi. They lose only 1 player on their side, and that's good. That's totally fine. This is exactly the result they were willing to go for against Navi on their eco rounds. Electronic would love to pick up some weapon on the floor, but unfortunately the Reese Hunter inching ever bit closer. Electronic will give it a try, but will be met instantly by the man I've just mentioned. So G2 Sports avoid any significant problems with the eco rounds of Navi. Great news for them as they are able to pick up 5 rounds already on the T side. Definitely stepping onto the heels of Navi on Nuke, creating some space of problems. And now Navi are halfway naked. By that I mean they don't have that much utility to work with. As you can see, only 1 nade a player, except for Boomage, who's got the most. I was going to say because he's playing from below of the secret, but that is Electronic this time around to take his role over there. We haven't seen him being in action. I think only one round as he was peering himself over the silo. Yeah, probably he was there at some point of time, but normally you see Boomich right there. Now they want to switch their setup just a little bit, it seems. Bait, as usual, remains the player to be holding down ramp. Simple as well. Off of that bait. Works out very nice. Goes for the flick, but doesn't connect. Jax takes him down just ahead of the molly. And Nico also gets rid of Bait up close on the ramp. One more thread is off the rails. It is no longer present. Boomich will take down Nico through the lens of glass. Through the lens of his crosshair. That's what I was going to say. So 2 versus 3, and Navi are already doomed to be wrapped up as losers on this round. That was a very nice cutoff by Jax. I'm not sure Simple expected for that kind of a play, but that is very nice. He's not scared of that. Even though they got the first frag, but they realize, man, I need to step up. I need to get an exchange. And this is the only way we can win out the round, by hunting them down, by making sure they are no longer alive, by making sure those threats are eradicated and they are no longer present. So that is very nice awareness of Jax. Fast enough to take down Simple before he manages to escape behind the wall and secure his safe spot. Malik is very focused. He is hyper concentrated. He knows what this matchup means for the boys. They've done a huge work to elevate their roster from the very deep to pretty much the high realm of CS. If you were watching the Analyst dissection, you saw the chart of how they climbed up the ladder of ranking, of success. Especially after Nico joined the roster, they are really good at fixing mistakes. They are really good at disciplining themselves. And this is exactly the roster I want to see play around the top tier teams. G2 Esports deserve that. Navi, well, there is no doubt they are one of the best teams in the world. The second best team in the world. Just slightly behind Gambit. And maybe here today they will be able to prove the opposite. They will be able to turn the chart, to turn the rankings. Simple, phenomenal with AWP. Towards the outside area he goes. Now pays off his AWP twice as needed. One frag, okay, you're more likely to be traded out in such an exposed position, but he managed to take down the consecutive frag, the consecutive player, also in a pretty unusual spot, and you also escape. You preserve a 2-man advantage for your team, and this makes these things a lot easier. Electronic looked to be a little bit distracted on Amanek's approach, which made him dictate some difference, but still I don't think that's going to be enough. With 15 seconds remaining, Amanek is going to make a play from the above. They are about to take down 2 players. They do make it, and they do have enough time to plant the bomb down. I do believe it's the case. How do they do this? Simple started off very well, and he's the only man holding 2 frags in this round thus far. None of the Navi members step up. He's gonna feel terrible about that. He's done a lot. It seemed to be the statement maker in this round from the beginning. But right now, I'm not sure they even want to go for the retake. It's not gonna be the case. They just want to make sure G2 Esports are down at the end of Explosion. Bit needs to escape. He will be hunted down, but nobody to reach his butt on his escape back. Unbelievable. This is just a little bit slipping by. Amanek, good flank from the above, not read by Navi at all, and they lose themselves. Electronic knows how much this round meant for their defense, and Blade as well, rolling his eyes. trying to process what just happened around the map, because that was just pure insanity. Well, even though Simple is a dominant power indeed, even though he is ballsy enough to go for those kind of plays, but this has to be something more out of Navi. Perfecto on top. Does get 2 men down. Also brings a lot of damage onto Nexa. In the meantime, Simple charms in with a frag. Bit from the glass. And here comes the equalizer. Navi tie up the scoreline 7-7. And we are heading straight into the last round of this half. Who is going to take it? Who's gonna guarantee the 8th round on the board and be slightly ahead at the end of the first half? Simple is an absolute beast. You give an AWP to this man, whatever weapon you give him, he's gonna make as much as he's known for. Second tactical pause will be taken out by G2 Esports to get ready for the last round of the half and try to squeeze out as much as they are having remaining under their belts in their tanks. They want to empty as much before switching the sides. So both goodbyes. No AWP for G2 Esports. You don't normally go for an AWP setup on the T side, so that's totally fine. Navi with Famous, AKs, AUG, and an AWP as usual brought into mix. Simple to stick around that weapon. This time around, not playing over the outside area, instead watching down the ramp. I used to be watching the outside area a lot, but this time around they are going for the switch. There is no longer a bit on the ramp. And he used to help out a bit normally when G2 Esports were executing ramp, but right now they are switching their setup. And that is also good for catching G2 Esports off guard if they decide to take down the ramp, because they would probably not expect Simple to be with an AWP right there. But it seems like their final decision is going to be completely different. It is going to be a under attack through the hut. Some molly smokes from Nico, from Silo. Perfecto will be burned down to quite not a lot of HP, but Electronic will for sure. G2 Sports are paving their way through the vents, but Boomich is quick enough to take down one more player on the B-bomb side that is totally unaware. That is totally unexplored by G2 Esports. They are hopping Navi to make a mistake, and here they fall. Hunter as well getting his frag. Boomich spots out. Oh, and he also jumps further. 9 seconds remaining. Bit taking down Amanek. He finds the bomb, and Hunter can get all the kills he likes, because this round is over. No time, even if he gets so. And this is 8-7 in favor of Navi. Ladies and gents, we're gonna cut a bit of a steam into a short break, and after that we will bounce back with yet more. So stay tuned and don't leave your seats far off.
BondSwap, Bondly's NFT swapping technology, to create a new upgraded egg. But remember, these chickens won't be around for long. Each chicken will only be available for a limited time period in limited supply. I hope you guys are as intrigued as I am. You better get your eggs and your chickens ready. The 16th of June, I'll be waiting.
And we are back. The final half is coming your way. It's going to be on Nuke. It is G2 and NAVI waiting. And the grand final is going to be Gambit. And one of these two teams, and only one, will make its way there. And I have no idea who right now. I feel like if NAVI make one mistake less per half, they have this. They're playing well enough for it.
Oh, quickly back to the action. 7 to 8. We switch up the sides and about to see the demise of one of these teams on the pistol round. Jax, what have you done? 2 rounds. Potentially for G2 Esports after they pick up the pistol round in such a way. Simple is the only player left. This falls apart way too quick. I'm pretty sure Navi didn't think that could go that way. Jax sees the player back turns, and Navi just experienced 2 players straight away next as well with the nade. Very quick, very lightning fast pistol round by G2 Esports. So they find their rate and go for the buy with some SMGs, with some rifles against a lot of pistols on the Navi side, a lot of upgraded pistols, which can be very devastating if put correctly, if put nice and clean. So slowly but surely making their way into the secret area. They pass by a wall of smokes that they thrown to create cover. That's been enough. Nico tucked into garage will find no impact right there. So once they realize it is B, they're gonna have to rotate themselves over. Next as well expects for 2 of the members to be going down the ramp. Amanek has been dropped down to 79 HP. I think he just jumped off the rafters. Yeah, probably did. Otherwise, I don't see any other player up close dealing that damage. So 3 of the Nami members are about to walk here to the B-bomb site down the secret. Hunter is the only player right there, but he may be enough to gather the information and, more importantly, don't lose his life. He catches a very bad timing, but manages to get out of it. Tries to imitate that he's opened the door and escaped into the side, but Navi reads that, and Electronic will scoop up 2 of the members. Nexa down, plus Hunter. They are not the biggest heavy lifters, but they are the ones that matter a lot. And because of that, because of their demise in this round, G2 Esports will have to save their weapons. That is a terrible result in this round. Hunter as well, super lucky to drop down to Electronic without getting a single frag. And yeah, that becomes a world of problems for G2 Esports after Electronic lands himself 2 frags in a row. That is unfortunate to witness. Like, Navi picking up the pistol rounds. Excuse me, G2 picking up the pistol round. They picked up the first pistol round and then got overrun by Navi with their respawns on the force buy. This time around it happens exactly the same way, but just different sides, but the same story, right? The same results, the same consequences. And they are already in the lead. Not a lot has changed. Now it's a very big picture has been put into distinction after Navi won out this round, because G2 Sports, they have still a pretty good buy. All things considered, that can be enough for the conversion. Amanek playing with the flashbang, so Nico can call out for the flashbang support. There is Molly. It doesn't touch Nico right there, but he's about to lean out. He does get it. But Simple manages to take him down first, although he's dropped onto 13 HP, but still 5 members against 4. Ooh, Amanek sees Electronic walking in, but he cannot line up a headshot. He went for the body shot instead. A lot of damage dealt, but none of the frags just yet, so G2 Sports will have to find a way to bury them to the ground completely. The door is boomed out. It is no longer opened or closed. It is rather non-existent. Now you were about to walk out of this tiny hall into this tiny gap, which could be exploited by Amanek, in fact, with a scout, but instead they choose a wiser route. They choose a better option available up the grabs, and they charge straight into the B-bomb side instead. Hunter barks up the ladder, confirms there is nobody in the squeaky room, and Navi, well, definitely reserved a ticket for the round victory in this one. There is no way G2 Sports want to try and show up a difference. They don't have any defuse kits, so they just have to save their weapons. That's a pretty bad decision to make, but still better than going completely poor, completely devastated, completely destitute, so to speak, against Navi's buy in the next round. So better save with those weapons. That's totally fine. They still can be good for the job. It is not the end of the world. But if you remember, Navi were in a very huge lead as well. There was 12-8 score line. Then at some point they picked up the 13th round, but then threw up the entire game just thanks to a small yet very significant mistake on Dust 2 on the A-bomb side. So still too far and too late. Excuse me, too early for any predictions for that matter. Navi still have a lot to prove. They are having to pick up 5 rounds to pick up the match point, and 1 more will be remaining to secure it down the stretch. Perfecto throws out a lot of utility to help his teammate run into the A-bomb site. Boomage turns around. He's just a couple of HP away from being taken down. Amanek ensures that's exactly the case, that he's no longer alive. Some trades happening, but Simple has got the bomb on his back, so he can plant it down. Just make sure nobody's up close. Electronic can cover off the upper area, which used to be taken by Amanek. This time around, he goes for a different plan. He repositions himself over to main, and this is something Navi may not be aware of. So he can be the element of surprise, but he's also... They've got 200 HP in total, so this means that he's got to line up a headshot in case he wants to be fully successful. But luckily, there are players who step up with the M4s and other rifles. So Nico waits out the perfect timing and does get the job done. But one more question is left. Is it going to be enough for the bomb defusal? 1 second, half a second, and they get it. Imagine if Navi had prolonged this play for just half a second. That would have gone completely the different way and would have been an 11th round for the boys in yellow. But Nico fast enough to take him down, and his teammate is also quite close to secure the bomb defuse, so nicely done. It all went down to details, but eventually worked out in favor of G2. Congratulations, my dear friends. You are just 1 more round closer from tying the score up. 5 AKs will be stretched out across the board for Navi, and they are quite sure they have to dive deep into the secret. Electronic tried to imitate some sound that he ran straight into the secret area. I think he was hoping that Nico is standing somewhere in the garage area instead, and tried to force him into wrapping around and sliding down into the secret to hunt him down. But no, it's not the case. He's probably just wasting his time right there. That was a pretty good idea, but unfortunately no circumstances that could yield that at all. Hunter will be burned out to 60 HP, I believe. Jax to 52. Some early damage dealt by Navi, which is very helpful as you're about to execute the A-bomb site from all of the sides. Jax is about to be caught off guard from the right, from the center, from the left, whatever you want to name it, it will all match. And he will be taken exactly that way. So 4-on-3, Navi are into the post-plant scenario. Perfecto expects Nexa to walk in and he's going to be taken down. This is an instant call. After he gets that frag, this is all done and dusted. G2 Esports have got to go for the save. Also, good period of time chosen by Navi to attack the A-bomb site. They get also lucky enough that there was nobody on top of the rafters. There was only poor Jack standing on the A-bomb side. So in terms of their defense, G2 Sports definitely considered a huge chunk of territory. There was simply nobody to help out Jax in that position. That was part of the problem why they lost their fight against Navi on the A-bomb side. There was only Hunter on top of the booth, but because he got taken down, Jax was in a lot of trouble. He had so many angles to look at, and yeah, he just became an easy target for Navi as they were just running him down. Easy as that. Timeout by G2 Esports. 25 seconds left until we resume back into the game. Already less. And Navi, so far, they are floating around their more or less consistent way towards the grand final, because they are sloppy, but they are good enough for maintaining their lead, and that is always great if you are ahead of your enemy. That is always giving you a lot of confidence. But most importantly, if you're Navi, you don't want to be making the same mistakes you did in Dust 2. I'm mentioning this multiple times, but this actually matters. I'm pretty sure Blade called out a serious time, a very serious and precise time for the conversation between Navi players. Just tell them about that mistake, and not only necessarily that mistake, but also a couple of more that can potentially spoil the party for Navi against G2 Sports. And right now they are playing this one almost to perfection. They are not perfect enough for all of the rounds. And Nico, I think he saw his limb, so he's now going to be way more careful about that. Completely lurking behind the box, behind the crate. Nobody to bother him, because Navi have already passed their feet into the secret area. But there is an AWP watching close. Amanek, he whips the shot. Wide swing by Electronic. Molly's quick enough to counter him off. Keep this ferocious player at bay. And now Amanek still, he doesn't want to relent. He wants to drill his head off. He wants to drill his out. He wants to drill himself out of. He wants to drill Electronic out of this round. That is exactly what I was going to say. So Boomich, he managed to walk into the upper area, but Nexa has been provided with that sort of information and is playing at a pretty unusual spot. But wide swing by Boomich makes him pull off the trigger first, and this becomes a world of sloppiness for him to connect that shot. Amanek does get a retort, but is it enough? There's actually 20 seconds remaining for Navi. The time is pressured. It is running heavily low. 15 seconds. And this is the time they run themselves into the B-bomb set. Only now, Simple does deny Jack's presence right there, and they will secure it. 3 against 2 becomes a pretty doable task for Navi. Certainly, yes. Bit is left up against 1 versus Nico. Sorry, there was Perfecto against Nico, and it takes it. Nicely done. Unearths this clutch against one of the best players in the world and probably the best player on the G2 side. Especially a Nuke. Nuke is quite good at Nuke. You can see him just paving his way, just busting his way out of the... out of his temporary shelter that he used to be in. He used to be in the garage. And he is already at the 19 frag mark. Only 11 deaths. Good statistics. But good statistics are not enough for the map victory. They definitely need to offer something more. And right now it is all about just fully corral. G2 Esports will probably give out this 22nd, rather 23rd round. No, excuse me, 22nd round. What am I talking about? 22nd round. I know I wasn't that good at maths at school, but hopefully nobody's gonna punish me for that. Ow, Jax, he's going for quite an audacious play, but he chooses the wrong route perhaps, or maybe not. Maybe it's gonna work out just fine, but that is quite hard to line up two of the members with USPS in the hands from the upper range. Navi will walk back, but I still don't think it's gonna be positioned wide enough to see them. Boomage spots it instead. Does preserve that as a kill. One more player on top of the Raptors, and Hunter delivers a knife. That is very good for their economy, but still the round should go Navi's way. Electronic's break him down from the back, and here he falls. So no AK-47 will be saved up by G2. Good news for Navi as well, because they don't let them get away with a knife kill, and an AK-47 as well. Only knife kill. Only knife kill is the limit, the cap ceiling that will be allowed for G2 Sports to achieve in this round specifically. So Navi will pick up the 13th. They will make this dream possible. But maybe the 13 number is something a little bit cursed for Navi. I wonder if that remains the same from the previous map. Hopefully it doesn't. They would love to close out this map. They are 3 rounds away from doing so. That is always like, I've been always curious. How does this whole mechanic works? Like if you're staying on the ladder and your player falls down, your enemy falls down, and you see him actually looking at you, so you're basically stabbing him into the stomach, but you're still somehow delivering a backstab. And that has been always a bit of curiosity for me. How does it happen in CS? That you are, like, in POV, you are knifing him from the front, but at the same time, you're taking him down with only one stab. That's a little bit weird, but that is the reality. That is the realms of CS. The smoke blooms just half a second too late, which means Nico can deliver some damage onto Electronic, who was jumping over that temporary gap. Just looking at how many pistol rounds G2 have won, it just had to be a way bigger crucible for Navi in this matchup on this map of Nuke, especially considering how good G2 Esports are on Nuke. That should have been their way. That should have been their rounds most of the time, their lead, but they actually lost a lot. And with that first frag taken by Bit, good job. That is the disadvantage of an M4A4. That has been displayed exactly in this round. 20 seconds remaining. Navi are yet again pressuring this clock down to the very limit. He sees a tip of the lags. He's about to walk out of the trap. Nico takes him down. But the execute is happening on the other side of the map. Navi, they are again putting this round to unfold on the last seconds But they make it work. They somehow make it. That is a lot of risk, but they seem to be controlling the situation. They seem to be knowing what they are doing, and that goes their way. So 14th round will be on the horizon. G2 Esports have nothing to propose against it. They will have to relent once again and save their weapons, just as they did in the past couple of rounds. NAVI are on the streak. Very nice to see them finally breaking out of their frames, showing their actual form against G2 Esports on Nuke. A terrible buy for G2 Sports. They've got to go for potentially a safe. They only bounce off of those 2 weapons saved up. Oh, and that was a very risky battle between Amanek and Simple. They whiff shots, which could have gone their way actually, which could have gone both way for sure. Simple could get the frag, and so could Amanek in that fight. Nico throws out a smoke. There is a bit of a gap to work with, but he cannot fully concentrate on that. He's going to be worried about the top of the main in case somebody decides to slide himself down to that side. And he can be potentially dug down. So Nico has got no idea about that. He will shave off Simple from the low range it hits. But Electronic from the garage tries to pick up a trade, but he's not going to do that. Perfecto with the spray down. Cannot connect the second, and this becomes an instant 2-on-4 situation. The time is hell of abundant for NAVI to talk things through, to juggle all of the options available around their list. But, you know, that is still a pretty huge challenge. Even considering G2 Sports are having still 2 Deagles in play, that is still a lot asked by... There's still a lot to be asked from NAVI. Boomich, he's got a bomb, but he's not diving down to the vents. Instead, he goes all the way to the secret area. He burns vent out, blocks it up from access, but it is only for temporary time. How is it possible that G2 Sports don't have any defuse kits to work with? They do have over $1,000 per each, and they still don't have those. This can turn out to be terrible for them as they try to retake the site. They peak altogether, and luckily so. This will be their round. NAVI will be restricted from getting their hands under the 15th round. But that was a really curious thing to see. Like, G2, you're having a lot of money to work with, and there is nobody with defuse kits. That is something that could potentially work against you. Sometimes it really matters. And looking at all capabilities existing in CS, you don't want to let it happen. Amanek from Secret. Good find onto Electronic. NAVI have been trying to abuse the outside area a couple of times already. The previous round didn't go their way, as it was G2 Sports posing their frags left and right. Right now, NAVI are showing some resistance at the very least. Perfecto has also slipped on top of the upper area, but I'm not sure if Jax knows that. He's just behind the vent. And Amanek, oh, he sees him, pulls off the trigger, and does connect the shot. A pretty vital one. Now, NAVI don't have that big amount of territory under their control. Perfecto might have parked in the run area, and he's been given a forfeit by Amanek. He's up to 2 kills so far in this round. Bit will be planting the bomb down. Hunter doesn't want to dare open the door just yet. He wants to wait for his entire squad to unite together and get into the B-bomb site or retaking the site. Now this time around they do have defuse kits that's equipped up to Jax and Hunter. Well enough. They also don't have an utility to work with, so this can be a little bit problematic. Bit and Simple coming out with the frags. They cannot find a single frag. G2 Esports, this is falling apart at seams, and there you have it. One by one, piece by piece, that all goes the Navi's way. They got a little bit disjoint. G2 Esports could not get a single frag to trade it and make it easier. And just all of the shots connecting for Navi. Brilliant job as they secure 1 round only remaining from picking up this map as well as the series, pushing themselves into the grand final. Nico, deep enough, wants to catch them off guard by the element of surprise. He hasn't done something similar, something of that sort. Of course, Electronic does have a bit of a read on that. But Nico may be caught off here and now. Electronic takes him down. Amanek retrieves a frag. Still a lot of uncertainty around the map. Navi are trying to spread themselves across. But so far, the majority of them are centered around the lobby area. So they are trying to sniff something out. Bit in the meantime has crouched himself through. He waits for some presence on top of the hut. Spots out Nexa towards the side itself. But Hunter pops his head out in the right timing, and he does shave Bit off of this conversation. Out of this game already. Perfecto and Electronic are all 2 members alive in this round. But don't count them out just yet. If you remember how crazy it was in the previous round. Electronic to take down Jax down to a very low amount of HP. One more player on the site. He will not be taken down. There are 2, in fact. Which means quite an invigorated side of the map for G2 Esports. The bomb is in front. Electronic can scoop it up, but is not able to back off to the vents. Try to climb down the ladder and plant the bomb down on B. That's not going to be the case. G2 Esports are still holding onto the edge. They are not done just yet. Very nice readjust by Hunter onto Perfecto with an M4A1S. Malik might be maybe saying thanks to the god for this round. Thanks to all the spiritual forces that help G2 Esports out in this fight. Keep it going. Keep bringing them that extra energy to be able to pick up more rounds and tie up the scoreline. But maybe there are more powerful spiritual forces on the Navi side as they favor the first frag for Electronic. He takes down Nico, but that's been traded. Keep it level. Still walking to the outside area. Can be a potential way to close out, dictate their position in this round. Electronic spots out 2 from the outside area, even though he's been down, but he's been quite lucky to give out a huge amount of information for his teammates, but it's not going to be enough. G2 Esports are tucked enough to prevent Navi from seeing and even expecting them to be right there. So nice and clean. They do take 2 members down to close out this fight. This string of massacre. Amanek actually missed his shot from the back, but luckily that didn't activate Electron to go roaring, to go absolutely crazy. And Navi, I'm really surprised. This is only the first tactical pause. I was wondering if they took some rounds to talk through during the timeouts throughout this game of Nuke, but no, this is actually the first tactical pause for them, and that's definitely the one they need. It seems like Blade has come out with a couple of ideas, and some really crucial ones that will help them out close out this game. Another one in a row, and I like it. I don't mind that. Just you have 3 more left, and why not pick up one more consecutive one to have some extra 30 seconds to discuss things, to dissect them into pieces, and really decide what do you lack for the closer? What do you lack for one more round to forget about this matchup and no longer let it be present? They will have an eco round, it seems, in this round, so don't think $2,000 will be worth a very good buy. They are actually forcing this one, so they are still having quite a lot remaining. They want to aim at closing this one real quick. They don't want to prolong, they don't want to delay. They want to secure, but also having a bit of contingency plan. In case they lose this round, they still have enough money to rebuy. And their goal right now is certainly to plant down the bomb. They would love to get that pack onto either of the grounds, and this is exactly what they are trying to do right now. Jax showing his ground right here. Amanek with an AWP. That ends up all very quick. Even though a very nice attempt by Navi, they managed to plow 3 members of G2 Esports down. That was a very magnificent, a very explosive one. And also the fact that Amanek picks up a kill onto Electronic the very first time, the very first hit, that opens a world of opportunities for G2 Esports to keep it level, to keep it in their favor. Okie dokie. 3rd and penultimate round allocated for the discussion. Navi, give it another try to come out with some brilliant ideas, with some outstanding ones to stamp on G2 Esports, to stamp on their comeback, to put up a red sign that it is no longer possible. The biggest utility damage is currently held by the name of Electronic. It's been pretty good at dumping a lot of mollies, nades. But Nexa is also not too shabby in terms of that. Imagine getting most of your frags during the game with only utility. Imagine utility frags prevailing regular frags with rifles or any other weapons. That would be interesting. I wonder if that's if that happens. I think it actually happens, but I'm not talking about intentional ones. I'm not talking about intentional scenarios where players actually create an environment. And I do wonder if that happens on the professional CS. If that can somehow be the case. Navi's economy staggers. It is easy to understand that from Galiliar, Tech9, and 3 AKs across the board. Not the best setup you want to be looking for as you come into this pre-penultimate round. 29th, ladies and gentlemen, 40 seconds remaining on the clock, and Navi are throwing out a lot of agility in the direction of Nexa before meeting each other. He manages to dump a molly out, which buys a lot of time for G2 Esports to cement their defense on the B-bomb side. Nexa expects them to come from the upper. Nico on top of the Raptors does get him down, and Simple is left up against 3. Oh, gets another, turns around. This guy is looking for the game changer. He looks to shut them down here and now. He's only having 8 HP against 100 on Amanek. If he clutches this out, this will be a brilliant play by Simple. He spots him out. He knows where he is, but he's gonna go for the straight defuse. He's gonna pick out right now. And he does get it. Oh my god, Simple. What are you doing? You are an absolute crazy man. What can I say? Coming out with such an incredible clutch against how many? Yes, 1, 2, 3, and then the 4th. This is worth a medal for sure. Blade, very grateful for Simple to clutch out a round like that, and he cannot believe himself that he's done such a phenomenal one. This will be another on his shelf. This will be another clutch on the shelf of Simple. Wow, what a way. What a way to secure the last round of this half and of the entire series, and also secure themselves in the final matchup against Gambit. Grand finals are soon to be unfolding, so don't go too far away. This game, I do appreciate the effort by G2 Esports. I do appreciate how much they've done, but when you're left alone against Simple, even though it seems to be a totally unrealistic clutch for him, he's got 8 HP, he's also against 4. Well, he didn't have 8 HP, but after he got down 3, he was 8 HP, and that looked to be just 1 shot required by Amit to take him down. Well, we're gonna send it over to the analyst desk and see what they have up on their mind. So yeah, it's over to you. I'm just speechless.